Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. Hope you're all having a great day today. We had mile-and-a-half racing at Kansas Speedway. As you see the updated playoffs and regular season standings on your screen, as Kyle Larson has extended his gap by 49 points over myself, as we have a brand new paint scheme on the car today in the Komatsu Toyota Camry for this Joe Gibbs Racing team. A big weekend for us. We have the bracket tournament starting this weekend, which we will go over that in just a moment, but we also had finally a second meeting as Brad Keselowski was willing to put an offer on the table for next season.
I'm willing to offer you a 5-year deal at $3 million per season. On top of that, I will hand over my Xfinity team to you and let you have full control. Think it over and get back to me when you can.
And you hear the offer from Keselowski, a long 5-year deal offer, a 5-season offer, alongside $3 million per season, and total control over his Xfinity team, as he will hand it over to us and we can rebrand it and do whatever we want. The Dale Jr. offer came recently, the Keselowski offers came. We still have to listen to Joe Gibbs Racing as well and see what they have in the cards for us as we focus in on qualifying. This weekend, the 5-race bracket tournament kicks off that you will see in real life next season in NASCAR, where the top 32 in standings fight for, in what this career mode series is going to be, $3 million to the winner of the tournament. Kyle Larson, your top seed, goes against the lowest seed of his Hendrick teammate, Rajah Caruth. We are going up against an easy Austin Cindric. The format is simple. We'll go over that once the race starts, but I'll show the rest of the seeding in the race now as we cross the stripe to put a 31.327 on the board, putting us P19. Some work to do here in this Hollywood Casino 400 as we're going to see who's up at towards the front of the grid. It's going to be Kyle Busch on pole for Trackhouse Racing, William Byron, Reddick, Elliott, Gibbs, your top 5. Larson, Bell, Chastain, Corey Heim for 2311, and how about Parker Kligerman actually for RCR/Three Friends Racing inside the top 15, Trackhouse Project 91, and James Davison in the field down in 31st place here. Now, we had Truck Series, Xfinity Series action on track this weekend, both taking place at Kansas, where Brent Cruz, RCR prospect, actually picked up his second win of the season, holding off Colby Howard. You see the rest of the finishing order on your screen. On the Xfinity side of things, for RFK actually, Haley Deegan picks up the victory at Kansas, holding off Justin Allgaier, Ryan Truex, Taylor Gray, as well as Sheldon Creed, as well Daniel Suarez inside the top 15. A few rough races for him after some strong successes this season, as you see the rest of the finishing order. And now it's time to go racing from Kansas Speedway.
It's crunch time for the playoffs and the start of the Busch Light Bracket Tournament. 32 drivers set to fight for $3 million. Who's the favourite to win it all, Steve?
By far, Kyle Larson will. But anything can and will happen.
It's time to go racing.
Okay, Gary, let's focus in on the 5 car today. I'll update you on the bracket situation if I need to.
Yeah, 10-4, James. Let's see what happens. Let me know if anything happens there for the bracket.
So, the bracket tournament starts today. You should see a graphic on your screen quickly going over. You can pause because it's not going to be up for very long, but those are the pairings, the 16 pairings, as we get ready to go racing here from Kansas Speedway. Bracket tournament race 1 is officially underway, and Kyle Busch, William Byron lead the field to the green flag here. Now, the tournament is simple. If you maybe don't know about it, NASCAR is using it next season. Over the course of 5 races, each pairing will go head-to-head of 32 drivers, the top 32 in points. Whichever driver finishes better than the other in this race will move on to the next pairing in race 2, so on and so forth. We'll eliminate, of course, a handful of drivers every race until we get down to a 1v1 in race number 5, where they will fight for $3 million, and whoever finishes out on top of those 2 drivers, of course, wins the big prize. After that, it'll be just a handful of races until the playoffs start. Of course, the playoffs start a little bit earlier earlier this season with that 3-race Final Four. We are quickly running out of time in this regular season now. The final, 10 or so races of this regular season, right behind the 48 of Rajah Caruth. He is the last seed in the bracket challenge, going up against his Hendrick teammate, the top seed of Kyle Larson. Caruth has had some speed recently, but he's had a miserable rookie season. It's not been pretty. We thought Corey LaJoie in the 48 last season was about as bad as it could get, and Caruth has hopped in this car and has had a somehow worse season by far compared to Corey LaJoie, who would look pretty successful right now. But it hasn't really been a lack of talent or a lack of speed in the 48. Caruth has had solid speed. He's just had the worst luck you've ever seen from a NASCAR Cup Series rookie. It's been absolutely horrific now as we continue trying to work our way forward now up the inside of the 2 of Todd Gilliland. Todd Gilliland, he's going actually up head-to-head versus his Penske teammate and retiring teammate at the end of the season, which could change, Joey Logano. Of course, it was announced last episode Ryan Blaney is leaving Penske, so right now, as of this moment, Penske's losing 2 stars of their team and are going to be left with currently Todd Gilliland. Of course, only one Penske car in at the playoffs at this point in time. That's Blaney with the wins that he has now as we were making this outside line work. And I love running this outside here in Kansas. It's really the only place to go fast now as we've run down the number 30 of Parker Kligerman, making one of his few starts this season. Chris Buescher has been working his way forward. Of course, he is one of the bubble drivers. The bubble drivers right now include Bubba Wallace, Shane Van Gisbergen, Chris Buescher, as well as Tyler Reddick, who comes into this race below the cut line. Todd Gilliland, Eric Jones, Joey Logano, all the first few drivers out of the playoffs with some work to do. Now as we come up to a potential future boss of us, Brad Keselowski, and maybe potential favorite teammate, not favorite teammate, but one of our teammates of Chris Buescher just behind us, but we're both running down the 23 of Bubba Wallace. Kyle Larson out in front, shocker, as he has been incredible recently. Now we're 3 wide on the exit of 2 briefly there as the 17's been moving his way forward, but we're not done fighting these guys now. A big run out of turn 4. We take a 3 wide down this front straightaway here, coming up on the halfway point in stage number 1, and now the momentum gets us alongside the 23 Money Lion Toyota Camry. Not going to be enough to make it stick though, as we're slowly working our way forward. We've struggled as a whole, not only as Joe Gibbs Racing, but as Toyota with this new car and this body is nose on the 1.5 miles this season, but we've been turning it up recently, and right now our teammates of Christopher Bell as well as Ty Gibbs are having very solid runs. But at the end of the day, Toyota only has 2 wins this whole season, and it's me with the Daytona 500 and then Sonoma shortly after. Nothing since as we continue to fight alongside the 23 and the 6. Speaking back on Kyle Larson, in the last 4 races, he's won 2. His worst finish is 7th. He has been on fire, and it's absolutely no surprise whatsoever that he has extended his regular season championship lead over myself and is getting those playoff bonus points if he can hang on to that to the end of this regular season. Now we're 3 wide around the outside of 2 Toyota teammates there of Reddick and Wallace. Of course, different team, but an alliance, a strong alliance between JGR and 2311. We're fighting hard with these guys, but Reddick going backwards now as we head down into turn number 3. Chris Buescher blows a tire into turn 3. Caution's going to come out just as one of the leaders was coming into the pits now, and he is going to lose some time and track position from that. Couldn't quite catch who that was. Maybe Shane Van Gisbergen in the number 97 for Trackhouse, but everybody is going to pit for tires and feel. We put up a little bit of grill tape, but I didn't have enough time to really feel for what we needed, so that was the only adjustment we made, was just adding a little bit of grill tape. We gained 2 spots in the pits, get up to P12 behind the number 97 Honda Civic Trackhouse driver of SVG, Shane Van Gisbergen, and Trackhouse Racing in general. Only 2 wins this season, both with Kyle Busch at the very beginning. We have seen, some good consistency recently from the team, though. We have seen all 3 of their drivers finishing top 10, which has been great for them. But bubble driver Chris Buescher brings out the caution. He has had some rough luck as of late, but he's still, fortunately for himself, in the race, and we saw that he's got a fast car. So do not rule out that number 17 before the day is over now, as we get already up to this outside wall as we glide through 3 and 4. Kyle Larson in that Wawa Chevrolet Camaro leads the way 3 wide on the outside of 4. Now Blaney on the inside, SVG in the middle there in that Red Bull Honda, as we have 7 laps to go in stage number 1. We were just so close to green flag pit stops kicking off when that caution came out, as it looked like it was, I believe, Shane Van Gisbergen that was just getting ready to pit as he was pulling off the track. Now, as you can see, struggling to enter the top 10. Meanwhile, Larson trying to run away with a stage win and another 10 extra points against myself in this regular season title battle. This has not been, going in my favor recently, and we were leading a good portion of this regular season. Now as we glide into the outside wall, and that's going to cost us some momentum. We dropped to 13th, and here's Rajan Caruth and SVG just behind. Caruth would get up my inside here on the way into turn 1, so with 3 to go in stage 1, we find ourselves 13th, maybe going down to 14th into turn 1. Sure enough, the 48 Overstock Chevrolet hooks that inside line, actually about a lane between him and the bottom, and that leaves the door open for a Shane Van Gisbergen now to get up alongside him down this backstretch. But we're seeing some improvement here for sure from Caruth now. He's consistently running top 15 now, which is a big step forward, but obviously to get in the playoffs, he's going to have to win. And with the playoff changes NASCAR made this season in this career mode, you can make the playoffs now from outside the top 30. If you win in your full time, you will be in the playoffs, and I do believe that 48 might have the potential to do something like that by being way out of the top 16, but finding a way to victory lane. But of course, running out of time, but a lot of season ahead, a lot of drama and chaos, I'm sure, is still going to happen as we're on this final lap of stage 1. Kyle Larson wins stage 1 over Chastain, Gibbs, Bell, Elliott there in the top 5. For us, it's not great as we cross the stripe for P15 and immediately looking for adjustments now, loosening the car up from a 50.0 on the wedge to a 49.8 and going a little bit higher on some of the tire pressures now as we gain 2 spots again in the pits now, lining up behind that 48 of Caruth. Looking like this could be one of those slow grind kind of days where we have to just work at the car, adjust it, and hope that we find more pace, because obviously right now not a top 10 car. We've not even scratched the top 10 yet, but we're back underway. 25 laps here in stage 1, so just a little bit shorter, stage 2, a little bit shorter than that first and opening stage. Now Larson leads the way. Ty Gibbs, the defending Cup Series champion, still looking for his first win on the season, and he has continuously been improving his gap over the cut line in recent episodes, so he's putting himself in a very comfortable position now as we lean on the number 97 as we exit turn 4, nearly making some contact with SVG, but we do avoid it now. 24 to go in stage number 2 as we get that slipstream off the back of the 48. Kyle Busch down to P10 after starting from pole position, but SVG is going to get clear on the exit of turn 2 down this backstretch, so we have to settle into P12, and we would continue to run in this 12th position now. As you can see, Larson still leads over the number 1 of Ross Chastain as we now are closing in on Caruth, but Bubba Wallace, he was kind of drifting backwards in stage 1. He's doing it again here in stage 2, and I'm drifting into the outside wall. Fortunately, no pressure from behind. The 17 of Chris Buescher has been continuously working his way forward. He actually got up towards maybe I think inside the top 20 when stage 1 came to an end, which was quite impressive with the limited amount of laps that he had to work with. But we're right here battling for the top 10. We're already looking better. I mean, we are hovering around 11th, 12th, 10th position, which is better than stage 1. So clearly the adjustments we did make were the right way to go as we split 3 wide middle there, getting the car to turn down the track, looking for a top 10 running position. Can't quite make it happen. Wallace stays ahead in that 23. We would continue in this exciting fight with the 23 and the 48. Now who's going to come out on top? I believe we have a quicker car. It's just we got to find a way to clear these two, and that was my difficulty right now. 3 wide on the outside. Now some good racing with these two, honestly, as we continue on this run into turn 1. Bubba Wallace on the bubble. What could have been if he would have held off Kyle Busch for one more lap in Iowa? He wouldn't have to worry whatsoever, but instead he does have to worry as he is outside of the playoffs. I think I said Reddick was the first one outside the playoffs. It's Bubba Wallace, sorry. Reddick is a little bit higher now as we continue going 3 wide middle, just going wherever the clean air really is, and trying to place my car in a good position, but we continue in this tight battle with these two. Now we'll go the inside 3 wide. This is absolutely fantastic racing from 10th through 12th position as we clip the apron. We're gonna have to check up there and concede now as we actually get the run back on the 23, but can't really make it of course succeed and put ourselves out in front now as Larson still leads the way. Lap 14 coming towards 15. We're not far away from green flag pit stops, but look at this run. We would get through 3 and out of turn 4. This might be the run that we need to get these two, as we might clear the 48 and we'll keep that momentum up on the outside, and Wallace unfortunately would clear me back on the bottom, so we would have to fight back, and the 48 as well got here, so it wasn't quite enough. Here we are in the middle with the 23 and the 48 one more time. It's been a great battle here with 10 laps to go in stage number 2. Now the 48 back in front. Chase Elliott out in front of everybody now over Kyle Larson, so looks like that 5 does have some competition here in stage 2. We continue scrapping it out with these guys, but finally as we exit 4 we clear Bubba Wallace. There we go. Can we now pounce on the 48? The answer is absolutely. Out of turn 2, letting it roll. Chastain to the lead now in that number 1 Trackhouse Honda, so Trackhouse is bringing some pace here today as we sail it off into 3, put it right up against this outside wall, leaving a few feet of course. As we exit turn 4 though, enough of a run, we'll clear the 48, and finally we can set sail and run away just as the pit stop cycle is kicking off. We're P10. What will we be able to gain? We're going to stretch this a little bit here, go an extra lap. Chase Elliott as well, Caruth just behind me. We're all going to go this 1 extra lap. We will be pitting at the conclusion of lap 19. So we would get down to the inside as we dive down into turn 3. Texas, we tried to pit under green. It was a total disaster. Of course, Texas was a disaster in general. Just wanting to forget that race, to be honest. But we pull into the onto the apron, into the pits. No issues, no speeding, everything flawless there on the pit entry. Some more adjustments, mainly to tire pressure. I kept the wedge the same for this pit stop sequence now, as we'll get these right sides off, put them on, left sides on as well. We're rolling with a 15.1 second pit stop, and we will rejoin the track as quick as we can. Can Chase Elliott maintain the lead? That 1 lap difference, no, he will not. Chase Elliott will lose out to Chastain, and Kyle Larson I think is going to get him as well. Joey Logano as well is sneaking his way into the mix as we have made a huge gain. P7 from P10 through the pit cycle. We've gained 3 positions. Unfortunately, one of the drivers that got the short end of the stick was our teammate of Christopher Bell. A slow stop for him. So we're P7 with 5 laps to go in stage number 2. We have continued to work at this car, and we're making it better and better, and we might even be a contender before this race is over, but we're going to, of course, keep ourselves humble in the meantime. Chastain looking to hang on for the stage win, looking for his still first win of the season as well. He's in the top 5 in the regular season standings now. Crash. Ryan Blaney goes around in the trial. Caution's gonna fly. A contact there from the 17 of Chris Buescher, and it's gonna be the end of the day for Blaney, and it's gonna be the end of stage 2. Ross Chastain is going to be credited with the stage 2 win. We will make an adjustment in the pit. Everybody's gonna pit for 4 tires. We go down just a little bit more on the wedge, so we get P7. Unfortunately, Larson gets 9 more points, so he extends that gap even further over myself. We gain 1 spot in the pits, overtaking the 24 Byron, and find ourselves P6 row 3 for the start of stage 3. We're back underway. It's been a fierce battle so far for Chastain, Larson, Chase Elliott, but how about Joey Logano and Ty Gibbs, who've both found themselves in the mix? William Byron in the 24 Valvoline Chevrolet, don't count him out. Of course, it's been, you know, a bit of a lackluster season after a really strong start to the season. I mean, the first handful of races, Byron pretty well did everything but win, and unfortunately he hasn't quite had that speed as the season has gone on. We've seen, of course, Kyle Larson take over. Chase Elliott, though, got his 2nd win of the season last time out in Texas Motor Speedway, so we know Hendrick Motorsports is going to be a team that we're going to have to fight right down to the end, of course, at the season finale and in the final 4 round, that whole 3 races instead of that 1 race winner take all, fortunately. And I do think that final 4 is going to be really exciting. Has actually clipped the wall right there on the exit of turn 2. Christopher Bell very much in the mix. He's trying to rally his way back towards the top 5, but it's Chastain, Logano, Elliott, and Larson to the inside of the Wendy's Honda of Kyle Busch. 3 wide in the middle, Bell on the inside, and unfortunately for me, Bell would get clear on the inside and Kyle Busch would get clear on the outside. Logano to the lead here on lap 61, not even in the playoffs. Maybe we could see Logano in his final season here do what he just did in real life, get into the playoffs and take advantage of a flawed playoff system and win a championship with 13 top 10s and an average finish of 17th. Now, nonetheless, he leads the way across the stripe. 30 laps to go. Now crash behind. Todd Gilliland goes around in the tri-oval. He's going to hit the outside wall, collect Bubba Wallace as well, and a few others. The 31 of Alex Bowman gets a piece of it. Nobody is going to pit. Actually, I think Gilliland, of course, is going to be on pit road because of the tire that just failed, but outside of that, nobody else will pit. We will get ready to go back racing here from the 9th position behind that 20 of Christopher Bell. We're back racing here now. It's going to be under 30 laps to go, and by the time the next caution comes out, if we get another one, we should be able to make it on field. 27 laps to go, so if we did pit right now, we would still be a bit short as we go down into turn 1. It's time to get aggressive. We're running out of time, but we know this car is slowly becoming more and more capable of fighting for a win. Joey Logano very much in the mix here today. Chastain, and now Bell's back into it. Kyle Larson, of course, Chase Elliott, those guys, I mean, they have been so strong all day long as we drift up the track into the side of the 54, use them up a little bit, leaning on the door of that Monster Energy Toyota Camry. We're side by side across the stripe with 26 laps remaining here from Kansas Speedway. It's been a race of what I would just call intrigue and just drama, but good racing drama, not silly drama. Ty Gibbs in the bracket tournament is going head-to-head against actually the top rookie of the season, Connor Zilish. Actually, William Sawalich, of course, having a great season as well. Those two certainly have put themselves in position to fight for the Rookie of the Year. None of them are expected, of course, to make the playoffs. I don't think we'll see any rookies in the playoffs unless they win, like we mentioned with Rajah Caruth earlier. Larson back out in front here, however, on lap 71. Chris Buescher has worked his way finally back into the top 10, so watch out for that 17. Kyle Busch just behind. Those two are battling it out side by side. We're right here at the tail end of this group of cars now running in P8. Lap 71. We're coming up on 20 laps to go here shortly. Larson now under pressure from the 9. Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet and Hendrick teammate of Chase Elliott as we glide up into the outside wall, getting good contact there. No damage, but we lose a ton of the momentum we were carrying now when we've been disconnected from that front group. Not what we wanted to see as we sail it off into turn 3. Busch now into the equation as well. Buescher as caution flies, smoke pouring out of the back of the 54 of our teammate Ty Gibbs. A caution flies again, and this is where everybody will make their final stop of the day. We go down a little bit more on the wedge to a 49.5, and Ty Gibbs faces an engine failure, and maybe not a failure because his race will continue. He'll restart from the back. Todd Gilliland stays on the racetrack. Oh boy, he pitted under the last yellow after bringing it out and now stays out. I don't think he can make it to the end because, I mean, even we are close to making it to the end. 18 laps to go here from Kansas Speedway. This could certainly spice up the restart. This is our opportunity. Logano trying to get after it. Can't quite make it happen. I split it up 3 wide in the middle between Byron and Bell. Getting the elbows out here on the initial restart. Down this back straightaway, 3 wide middle, still in towards turn number 3. Where does the 2 car go? He went bottom, which is perfect for us. Now Larson's going to try and go the long way around the outside. Elliott slips up the inside of the 2 to the lead. Chase Elliott looking for back-to-back victories now. We have a run on Joey Logano. We clear the 24, so now in towards turn 1, the 2's in front of his teammate Logano. We are into the top 5. Larson maintains second, and we are going to slip through into P4 once we clear this 2 on the exit of 2, and Logano's gonna have to try and rally his way around the outside of the 2. Actually, he's gonna do that immediately into turn 3, so don't count out Logano quite yet. Elliott under pressure now from Kyle Larson already, and Larson would take the lead over Elliott now. So it's Larson, Elliott, Chastain, myself, Logano. Your top 5 now as I cut down to the apron, trying to stay in contact with this top 4. We have 17 laps to feel with 15 laps to go, so we can make it to the end. Feel is not a concern whatsoever. Logano to the inside, crash. Tyler Reddick, bubble driver goes around, and it's going to be a huge impact up and over. He gets hit in a horrendous position on the roof from the 91 of James Davison. Caution is out, and a huge and violent accident for the 45 of Tyler Reddick strikes. We all stay out, and we hope the best there for the 45. Reddick is out of the race. We'll have to wait and see what's going on there, but that was a huge and just terrible accident for Reddick. Nonetheless, we're back racing. It's 11 laps of racing to go here from Kansas now, and chaos has struck a few times today, and now we have big names up here about to go for a victory. Elliott, Larson, Chastain, myself, Logano, of course, 2-time Cup Series champion 2018, 2022. They get ahead of us now down this back straightaway. Kyle Busch is up my inside as we head towards turn 3. Elliott in command, but he runs the top, leaves the door open for that Busch Light Honda of Ross Chastain, who's going to try and get side by side for the lead. Kyle Busch, don't rule him out. Bubba Wallace into the mix as well, just behind us in P7, as he still seeks his first win of the season. Now 10 laps to go, as Chastain's the only one on the bottom there in the top 4, and Kyle Busch, as well as I try to get to the outside of Logano. We are successful. We're 3 wide, trying to get ourselves ahead of these 2 into turn number 3, but Logano's going to keep it on the inside and fight hard, and so is Chastain. Logano needs every single point he can find with his playoff hopes on the line in his final season of NASCAR Cup Series competition. Chastain continues to lead with 9 laps to go. We would continue to trail this top 4 train now as Kyle Busch starts to lose connection, and I think the only thing keeping me in is the slipstream right now, but look at everybody fighting for the outside line. Chastain is not going to give it up there in 3 and 4. We're right to the back of the 22, but instead of going for a move, we push him as we now wait for the right opportunities to strike. The only way I'm going to pass is get on the right rear quarter panel of one of these drivers, and Logano would go to the inside of Larson, which is my opportunity here, but now Chase Elliott for the lead up the inside of Chastain, looking to go side by side down this back straightaway. Now 2 rows of 2x2, and Chase Elliott would have the advantage. Elliott clear takes the lead in the closing laps. The top 5 have been under a blanket since the restart at 11 to go, and it hasn't changed. We're all still right here together as we get to the right rear of Larson, but he would be able to get back ahead as we go way high through 1 and 2. Look at the speed in the 5. He gets alongside Logano, but Chastain back to the inside of the 9, and he would re-clear for the lead coming to 3 laps to go. A 11 lap sprint has been incredible here. 5 cars have a chance to win this race. Logano and Chastain have yet to win. What can they do? Larson looking for yet another win, which would be his 4th. Elliott looking for his 3rd, and so am I. Coming to 2 to go. Larson now in position to put the pressure on the number 1 Trackhouse Honda Civic, as it's a 5-car breakaway from the rest of the pack now as we go into turn number 1. 5 cars under a blanket now. Logano, can we get to his outside? Not quite. We need to get alongside the 22 out of turn 4 if we want any chance to do anything. There it is. Logano leaves the door open. We sail it off the outside into turn number 3. Chastain runs the wall. Larson just behind. They all slow up as we come to the white flag. Elliott into the conversation as well. 5 cars. Who's going to get back to the line first? White flag in the air. Chastain in control. Where does he go? Top. Larson high, a lane lower. Elliott to the inside. We have to stay on the throttle to the back of the 5. We clip the back bumper and plow into the outside wall. It's going to be a 4-car race for the win. Elliott on the inside, Chastain on the top. Chastain's clear. They all run the outside, including Logano and Larson, as Chastain hangs on. What a battle in the last 11 laps, but Ross Chastain is into the playoffs. He wins in Kansas. Unbelievable as he gets to celebrate victory here from Kansas Speedway. We end up P5. Obviously, if I lifted, obviously I drove into the back of the 5. Once I hit him, obviously it made the car tight and hit the wall. If I lifted, I would have also had no chance to win that way. I would have killed all my momentum, so I just had to try and at least stay in it. But you see the finishing order on your screen, of course. How about Caruth with a top 15 just behind Bubba Wallace, who dropped hard at the end of that race there, so a bit unfortunate there for Bubba. In the playoff standings, of course, we want to know what that situation's all about now. Chastain, of course, joins the winners list, but Reddick currently the last driver in, even after his huge crash. Bubba Wallace still the first driver out, but now he is only 6 points below the cut line behind Tyler Reddick. Joey Logano, of course, has a lot of work to do from those drivers on down, still even after a great day. But in the regular season standings, of course, we have continued to lose out, unfortunately, to Kyle Larson, who's now over 60 points of an advantage over myself. Chase Elliott's 12 points behind me. Chastain's very much into the mix if he can keep up this pace. Ryan Blaney as well. We advance in the bracket challenge, or in the bracket tournament. Of course, you see what it looks like there, and we'll have the updated seeding going into the next episode. So I'll see you guys in that next episode from the Tricky Triangle at Pocono Raceway. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.